We've all heard the question, what's your purpose in life? And when we hear the question, very often we become overwhelmed or paralyzed because we think the world is expecting this one grand gesture. Well, let me tell you, that purpose doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be overwhelming, and it doesn't have to last forever. What if purpose could be lighter? What if it's something that you do every single day? Not something that you're chasing for decades and not some grandiose gesture, but what I call Purpose Lite. Purpose Lite is about finding meaning in the little things. It's about showing up every day for what's important to you and avoid the pressure of changing the world overnight. Think about it. Purpose can be as simple as encouraging someone who's having a rough day, creating something that brings you joy and sharing it with others, taking care of your body so you have more energy throughout the day, or being present with your kids instead of scrolling on your phone. These things may not sound big, but doing the little things consistently not only create a ripple effect in your world, but in the world of others. It's the smile you give, the help you offer, the moment you give kindness, all of it adds up. The problem is we've been sold the story that purpose has to be epic. Like you're building the next big business or saving millions of people. And if you're not doing either of those things, well, you're failing at life. And that's just not true. The people who inspire us the most, well, they live with small, consistent purpose. Like making coffee every morning for their partner, mentoring someone after school, writing thank you notes, planting gardens. You may not see these as epic, but the ripple effect is there and they make a difference in their lives. Here's the mindset shift. Most people think purpose is a destination, but I want you to think of it like a direction. What is one thing, if you were to ask yourself, that's going to make an impact not only in my life, but in somebody else's? It doesn't have to be perfect and you don't need a map, you just need the direction. Purpose Lite is powerful because it's flexible. It grows with you. See, one season you may have epic, big, grandiose goals, but in other seasons it might be just as simple as staying present for your loved ones. You're allowed to redefine your goals as you go. So here are the 3 simple steps to Purpose Lite. First, spot the moments that matter. Look for the little things that bring you joy. Could be making art, helping a neighbor, or teaching someone something new. Secondly, make it part of your routine. Don't wait for a special occasion. Every day is an opportunity to impact not only your life, but somebody else's. And lastly, let go of the pressure. You don't need everyone's approval. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to show up regularly. Purpose Lite doesn't mean you lack ambition. In fact, what it means is you found purpose in the day-to-day, the moment-to-moment. And when you live that way, something magical happens. Those little moments add up to a life you can be proud of. So maybe today, your purpose isn't to save the world. Maybe it's simply making one person's world a little brighter. And that's enough, because you're enough. And if you keep doing that day after day, you'll look back and realize that small purpose wasn't so small after all. Let's be real. Nobody likes looking at their weaknesses. We'd rather show off our strengths, lean into what we're good at, and hope that that's enough to carry us. But what you have to understand is what you avoid is what's holding you back. You see it in sports all the time. The player with an incredible jump shot, but terrible defense. The fighter with knockout power, but weak endurance. The athlete who dominates in practice but crumbles under pressure. Talent and strengths will take you far, but weaknesses will determine your ceiling. It's simple. Self-evaluation is uncomfortable. It's easier to say, that's just not my thing, than to admit, hey, I need to work on this. But ignoring your flaws doesn't make them disappear. It just makes them stronger. The difference between good and great is the great ones attack their weaknesses head on. They don't avoid them, they fix them. So how do you do that? Well, here's a guide. Step number 1, identify the weak spot. Your first step is being honest with yourself. Ask, where do I struggle most when things get tough? What's the one skill I know is holding me back? If I were competing against myself, what weakness would I exploit? You can't fix what you won't face. So admitting the problem is where real growth starts. And then step 2, shift your mindset. Most people see weaknesses as roadblocks. They avoid them because they don't want to feel bad about themselves. But weaknesses aren't permanent. They're projects. They're just areas you haven't mastered yet. The best don't see them as flaws, they see them as opportunities to get better. Instead of thinking, I can't do this, start thinking, this is my next challenge. That mindset shift alone changes everything. Step 3 is you got to make it a priority. A lot of people acknowledge their weaknesses, but they don't actually do anything about them. They'll say, yeah, I should work on that, and then go right back to what's comfortable. If it's a weakness, it needs to go to the top of your list. You don't just work on it when you have time, you attack it every day. You create a structured plan to improve it. If your mindset collapses under pressure, you don't just hope it gets better. You train yourself to perform under stress. If your confidence is shaky, you don't just ignore it. You build it through preparation and repetition. So make a plan, put in the reps, track your progress, turn your weak spots into strengths. Step 4 is you have to push through the frustration, because at first you're going to struggle. It's going to feel awkward, frustrating, and slow. That's where most people quit. They try for a few weeks, don't see huge results, and then decide maybe this just isn't for me. But that's the test. Do you actually want to improve, or do you want to just stay comfortable? The only way to beat a weakness is to stay consistent long enough to see progress. It won't happen overnight. But if you stick with it, you'll wake up one day and realize that what used to be your biggest struggle is now second nature. And then step 5, keep looking for the next one. The truth about growth is that it never stops. Once you turn one weakness into a strength, well, then find the next one. There's always another level, another challenge, another way to improve. That's how champions are built. They don't run from their weaknesses, they hunt them down. The easiest thing in the world is to lean on what you're already good at. But the ones who reach their full potential don't take the easy route. They do the hard work. If there's a weakness you've been avoiding, it's time to step up and start doing something about it. Because your next level is hiding in the work that you don't want to do. There will be moments that test everything inside you. There will be times when you feel like you've given everything you have and it's still not enough. Days when doubt creeps in and you wonder if you're just wasting your time. But hear this, you can't lose as long as you don't quit. Every great success story has one thing in common: perseverance. The people who make it, who reach the top, who turn their dreams into reality aren't the ones who've never failed, they're the ones who refuse to stay down. How many people give up just before the breakthrough? How many quit when the results don't come fast enough? How many let their temporary failure define them permanently? The difference between those who win and those who don't isn't talent. It isn't luck and it's not resources. It's the decision to keep going when most people stop. And maybe you've been working on something for months, even years, and you feel like you're running in circles. Maybe you've faced rejection so many times that you're starting to believe the world is telling you to quit. Maybe you're exhausted from fighting battles no one else sees. But quitting only guarantees one thing: you never win. If you keep going, there's still a chance. If you refuse to stop, you keep the door open. And if you push forward even when it hurts, even when it feels impossible, you give yourself the opportunity to rise. And that's the difference. Successful people weren't handed their victories, they earned them. They struggled, they failed, they doubted themselves, but they never quit. The marathon runner doesn't win because the race was easy, they win because they kept running. The entrepreneur doesn't succeed because they never failed, they succeeded because they failed, learned, adapted, and kept moving. The artist doesn't create a masterpiece because inspiration never ran dry. They create because they painted when no one was looking, when the self-doubt was loud, when they thought about giving up, but didn't. You will have moments where you feel like giving up. That's normal. You will have moments where quitting seems like the logical choice. That's expected. But the ones who keep going are the ones who rewrite their story. So whatever you're facing right now, whether it's a goal that feels out of reach, a dream that seems impossible, or a battle that's wearing you down, don't quit. Take a break if you must. Step back, reassess, breathe, but then get back in the fight. Because as long as you don't quit, you haven't lost. And that means victory is still yours to claim. Your breakthrough is waiting. And when you finally reach it, you'll look back and realize every step, every struggle, every moment you wanted to quit but didn't, it was all worth it. Have you ever felt good about something? You know, your progress, your success, your happiness, until you saw someone else doing better. You were proud of your work until you scrolled through social media and saw someone achieving more. You felt confident until you walked into a room and noticed someone who seemed smarter, wealthier, or more accomplished. That moment right there, that's the moment joy is stolen from you. Comparison is the thief of joy. It doesn't just take your happiness, it drains your motivation, steals your energy, and blinds you from your own success. It makes you feel like what you have isn't enough, when in reality, it was enough before you looked at someone else. But what you need to understand is this: comparison is an illusion. The moment you compare yourself to someone else, you're seeing only a fraction of their reality. You're looking at their highlight reel, not their struggles. You see their victories, but not the failures it took to get there. You see their confidence, but not their insecurities. And yet you let this incomplete picture dictate how you feel about yourself. And that has to stop, because every second you spend comparing, you're robbing yourself of appreciation. You're ignoring your own growth. You're denying yourself the credit you deserve. So how do you break free of this toxic cycle? First, focus on your own journey. Your path is yours. No one else has lived your experiences, fought your battles, or overcome your obstacles. Your success cannot and should not look like anyone else's. The only comparison worth making is to who you were yesterday. Second is control your environment. Social media, TV, even the people you surround yourself with. Everything influences your perception of success. Be mindful of what you consume. If something constantly makes you feel less than, well, unfollow it, mute it, step away from it, protect your peace. Third, celebrate others without diminishing yourself. Just because someone else is winning doesn't mean you're losing. Success is not a limited resource. Someone else's greatness does not take away from your own. So clap for others and then get back to your own work. Number 4 is practice gratitude daily. Nothing destroys comparison faster than gratitude. When you actively focus on what's good in your life, you stop obsessing over what others have. Write down your wins, recognize your strengths, and own your achievements. At the end of the day, your joy belongs to you. Don't hand it over to the illusion of someone else's life. Because when you stop comparing, you start thriving. When you stop looking sideways, you start moving forward. And when you stop chasing someone else's version of success, you finally step into your own. So choose yourself, choose your journey, and don't let comparison steal another moment of your joy. You know what kills more dreams than failure? Procrastination. Not rejection, not bad luck, not lack of talent, the simple act of waiting. Waiting for the right time, waiting to feel ready, waiting for motivation to move you. Procrastination is a lie we tell ourselves. It disguises itself as logic, like I'll start when I have more time. It disguises itself as self-care, like I don't want to rush into it. It disguises itself as strategy, like I'm waiting for the perfect opportunity. But beneath all of that is fear, self-doubt, and comfort. And the longer you wait, the heavier the weight of inaction becomes. Procrastination has a cost. Every time you put something off, you pay a price. You pay in stress because the task never really leaves your mind. You pay in opportunity because doors close while you hesitate. You pay in confidence because every delay teaches your brain that you can't follow through. One day turns into 1 week. 1 week turns into 1 year. And then one day you wake up realizing that you let time steal what could have been yours. So start before you feel ready. Here's what most successful people understand. You don't wait until you're ready. You get ready by starting. No one ever feels fully prepared before launching their first business. No one ever feels completely confident before stepping into the gym for the first time. No one ever knows exactly what to do before taking the first step, but the difference is they start anyways. The first draft won't be perfect. The first attempt won't be flawless, but movement beats waiting every single time. So here's how to break the cycle of procrastination. If you want to defeat procrastination, stop thinking in terms of huge goals. Instead, focus on one small action you can take right now. You want to write a book? Write 1 paragraph today. Want to get in shape? Do 10 push-ups now. Want to start a business? Research for 10 minutes today. Because once you begin, something magical happens. Momentum takes over. What was once overwhelming becomes manageable. What was once terrifying becomes exciting. What once seemed impossible becomes part of your reality. The time will pass anyway. 5 years from now, you'll look back on today. So will you be proud of what you started? Or will you be full of regret because you kept waiting? Because here's the thing, the time will pass either way. You can either use it or waste it. You can either build or wish you had. You can either start now or watch someone else do what you were too afraid to begin. The choice is yours. There will never be a perfect time. You will never feel completely ready. But the longer you wait, the further you push your dreams into the distance. So stop waiting, stop hesitating, start now. There's a great line that says, only hurt people hurt people. Have you ever had someone criticize you out of nowhere? They'll tell you that you weren't good enough, smart enough, or talented enough. Or maybe they doubted your dreams, belittled your success, or made you feel like you weren't capable. Here's the truth. It's not about you. It's about them. People project their own fears, insecurities, and self-doubt onto others. They see you chasing a dream they were too afraid to pursue. They see you growing in ways they never allowed themselves to. And instead of facing their own pain, they throw it at you. Projection is when someone takes their own feelings, things they don't want to deal with, and pushes them onto someone else. That person who calls you arrogant, they might struggle with their own confidence. The one who calls you selfish, they might feel guilty about their own lack of generosity. The one who laughs at your dreams, they might be bitter about the ones they gave up on. People don't see you as you are, they see you as they are. Here's how to handle projection. First, don't take it personally. If someone lashes out at you, understand that it's coming from their own struggles. Their words are a reflection of their reality, not yours. Second, stay grounded in your truth. Just because someone tells you something doesn't make it true. You define who you are. If someone calls you lazy, but you know you're working hard, don't let their words shake you. Third, have compassion and set boundaries. Many people don't realize they're projecting. You can choose to respond with empathy, but that doesn't mean you have to accept their negativity. Protect your peace. Fourth is keep moving forward. The more you grow, the more you'll encounter projection. People will try to pull you down because they can't handle watching you rise. Keep going anyways. At the end of the day, people will say what they want, but their fears don't have to become yours. Their doubts don't have to hold you back. Their insecurities don't have to shape your future. So let them project. Let them doubt. Let them judge. And then go prove them wrong.